is in your knees. So now
That feels like it feels like I'm too straight. Do I need to be down a little more?
absolutely, yeah, you're definitely way too straight. Yeah.
Is the strap at the right place on my back, do you think?
Yeah, yes, I think it may be slightly lower, but once you get your hands inside, right, and then now think about pushing your knees out in front of the strap.
Yep.
Right, there we go. And then you're looking up and you're already working. I'm going to start timing it now because just standing in this position is already work.
Thank you. I realize that.
And so sometimes I do the 10, 20, 30, 40, but when people are in this, they're already way past 10, 20, 30. And just think about looking up if you can, and just think about bringing your knees. Try to get your knees in front of the belt, if you will. There we go. Yes, there we go. Perfect.
Okay.
And then you're pushing straight up because you don't want to put undue strain on your back. There we go. Yes, as you're doing it, you are attempting to straighten out. Now gradually go to 55, 60, 65, 70, 75% effort. Breathing the whole time. And you are closing in on, now gradually increase to 80%, 85, 90, lots of breathing, 95, 100%. Now remind yourself this will all soon be over. Just like those movies where there's a guy torturing somebody and he says, all you have to do is tell us what we want to know and it'll all be over. Breathe, breathe. Last 10 seconds. Breathing, 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 and just gradually ease off. And then the good news is you get to lay down on the floor and rest for a second.
Woo-hoo! That one, I will say, I felt a little bit in my lower back. And what I did to correct from that was to try to shift my weight onto my heels.
Yes. Yeah.
Because initially, I think with the strap over under my toe, balls of my foot, and leaning forward and put my knees forward, it just put undue stress on my lower back. So I tried to adjust, and I think I got it.
And I think too, it's really important as you're doing this, I'm just going to hold on here to really, you know, if you're kind of doing this, right? So before I said, bring your hips forward, and you said, well, that doesn't make sense to me. You said, I want to bring my back. Well, to me, I thought, well, I didn't debate it with you because I thought it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other. Because if I bring my hips forward, I can't help but bring my back. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And yet what I found alleviated my tension on my lower back was to almost put my butt back further so that I was putting the weight on my heels.
Trying to picture that. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that. To me, like it's the other thing could be maybe having the belt a little lower on your back as well.
Maybe, yeah.
So, anyway, but your low back, nothing spazzed or went into
No.
Okay.
No, that's kind of my Achilles heel anyway. My sacroiliac, you know, where my pelvis and spine join together. So when I felt it, I thought, okay, I know what this means. I need to, you know, sit back on my haunches a little bit more and push with those rather than being forward.
See, I think we're caught up in semantics. When I hear you say sit back on your haunches,
yeah,
that sounds right to me. Right?
Okay, good.
You know what I mean? When I hear you say stick my butt out, I'm thinking, well, that'll create even more stress on my.
Oh, I get it. Yeah, kind of like the sway back mare or something.
So I think we're both saying the same thing. We're just choosing different ways of expressing it.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right, so you're going for leg curls. So you're going to want your roller and your strap, but we're going to start with leg curl. Actually, let's start with the strap. And the reason I want to start with the strap is so you can leave it on when you do the leg curls.
I put my belt out of reach. I don't think that was intentional, but.
All right, and so the soles of your feet are flat on the floor. A little bit of a progressive relaxation exercise. Think about just leaning your head back, relaxing like you're gonna have a nice nap. You got nice sun coming in on you here. And your shoulders are relaxed, your shoulder blades are resting into the floor, your upper arms, your elbows, your hands on your belly are fine. And now your feet are slightly wider than your knees, and you're gonna just start to exert a minimal amount of tension on the belt, 10%, building up to 20, 30, 40, 50%. So now you are in contact with your glutes, and you're making sure that there's nothing hurting that's not supposed to hurt. And you are halfway through the warm-up. And now you're gradually increasing to 55, 60, 65, breathing 70, 75%, meditating and staying calm while doing almost your best. Your focus of your meditation is your glutes that are now thoroughly engaged and working significantly hard. Breathing the whole time. 4, 3, 2. Now gradually increase to 80%, 85. Full composure, breathing 90, 95%. The very best that you dare. The upper body is remaining relaxed as your glutes are going into deep level of fatigue. Last 10 seconds. Think squeeze as in squeezing out the last few drops. Continuous, breathe, 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 and now go down to 80, 60, 40. And with very little break, let's go into the leg curls.
Okay.
And if you need to straighten out a bit, whatever you feel has the leverage. And again, quick relaxation, think head, upper body, nice and heavy into the floor, and just start to put minimal effort pulling back on your heels. 10, 20, 30, feel the hamstrings, 40, 50%. So mental, muscle, mind connection, hamstrings. Test, am I pulling equally with both legs? Test, is there anything hurting that's not supposed to hurt? If the answers are good, then you continue your warm up for another 12 seconds, breathing and trying to tell yourself that you will not lose your contact with your hamstrings throughout this, especially as you calmly increase to 55, 60, 65, 70, right up to 75% of the best you feel safe doing. Another test on both legs, doing it the same way, equally, I should say, and continue thinking, I want to weaken this musculature significantly before I get to 60, so that I'll just be squeezing the last few drops starting now at 80%, 85, 90, 95, full composure, deliberate, calmly, 100%, the very best you can. And again, think of the word squeeze as you squeeze, gradually more and more, getting as much strength out of the hamstring as you can. Try to keep your breathing controlled. Breathe, breathe, and just gradually let it dissipate down to 80, 60, 40. And then I'm going to get you to go to adduction. So now we're getting the roller.
That was a really good idea to keep my strap on because my glutes were still engaged during that as well.
Good.
Not that I was focused on them, but I could definitely feel them working.
Okay, and again, quickly, relaxation, just take a couple breaths and just feel the relaxation go through your entire upper body. And as that is happening, now just start to interrupt the relaxation with a little bit of tension on your inner thighs. 10%, 20, slow build up to 30, 40, and 50%. Mind muscle connection, inner thighs, adductor muscles. Breathing. Think about slow twitch fibers are now being recruited because you're doing just a modest level of effort. Breathe, breathe. At this level, you could go on for a long time, but you're now going to increase it to 55, 60, 65, 70, 75%. So your effort should be significant, controlled, calm, and you're now recruiting more medium twitch fibers. In order to avoid taking the tension off the targeted muscles, always relax everything else. And you have fibers that are being tired, replaced by new ones. As you get a deeper level of fatigue, now go to 80%, 85, 90, 95, the very best you dare, knowing that your body will only recruit fast twitch fibers in fight or flight situations. So you want to do your absolute best you can do safely, but as in any fight or flight situation, staying cool will probably make the difference in your survival or not. Breathe, 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 and gradually ease off to 80, 60, 40.
Whew.
So now,
a question on the hamstring curls. I have a hard time keeping the fronts of my legs quiet, meaning they're pulling my toes up, and that feels like an active rather than just a passive leave them. You know, I kept finding my focus going to my fronts of my shins and saying, quiet, you know, it's okay. You're up. You don't need to do anything there. Is that normal?
I'm trying to think about it. I'm trying to visualize it. Full disclosure, I haven't done those on the floor for some time.
Okay.
I'm just saying now, did you feel the hamstrings as well all the way through?
Oh, I felt the hamstrings, you know, throughout, but I found myself, you know, tensing in the fronts of my shins to hold my toes up and thinking, no, you don't need to do that. It's just leave those quiet.
So here's what I'm thinking, and I'm going to try to. So how can I demonstrate this? Let's see if when I do this, it makes any sense. First of all, let me check to make sure you'll actually see me on the floor. So if I'm on the floor, can you see me okay?
Yeah, just fine.
Right. So if I'm digging in, right, which like I'm trying to do, but I am simultaneously pulling my toes up.
Yeah.
I would activate the front ones. Whereas if I was trying to bring my toes, you know, not to the floor, but just down, it wouldn't as much. So first of all, I'm trying to think, when I do it this way, am I feeling my hamstrings more than when I do it this way? Certainly when I do it this way, I'm definitely not feeling the front. Can you tell what I'm doing differently?
Yep. You're just pointing your toes as opposed to pulling them back towards your knees.
Yeah. And then of course I completely, and I feel it in my hamstring. The reason I'm hesitating a little bit is when you do regular curls on a machine, they do recommend that you point your toes towards the ceiling.
That's right. I remember that.
And the reason they do that is because it allows you, but I'm not sure if it would apply with time static contraction, because the reason you do it in a machine is because by bringing your foot, if this was your foot, you'd be bringing it up, right? It allows you to contract more fully.
Okay.
Like if I'm on, I don't know if you can see my machine here. You see
Got it.
my leg curl machine here?
Yes, I do.
So if I'm in here, and you see the way if I go like this, and
Yep.
I can go further. If I leave my toes down, right about here, I run out of gas.
Okay.
I'm active insufficiency here. My hamstrings won't contract anymore. Whereas if I just go like this, I can go an extra. See, did you notice how much further I went? But having said that, when you're on the floor doing a time static contraction, we're not concerned about the full contraction because we're never going there.
Right.
You know what I mean? We're still in the
Yeah.
of there where you're not. So what I would advise is let's do trial and error. So the next time, try to think about pushing, because when I was doing it on the floor just now, it felt as though with my toes downwards that I felt it more in my hamstrings. And
Okay.
to some extent,
I'll try it. It may have been, it may be a function of me trying too hard to make sure my heels are my feet are at a right angle to my shins.
yeah, because
And maybe I don't need to think that. Maybe I can just let them be where they're going to be.
and if you push down, it might feel as though, oh, I'm not digging in as much, they might slip. But when I was doing it just now, and I'm just using Crocs on a bare floor,
Yeah.
you're on a carpet, so you should be fine.
Yeah. Okay.
It's probably worth, maybe a variety, because I've also in some calf workouts where you're trying to do sort of a supersetting for calves is to include leg curls where you don't bring your toes up, but you bring them down, because that's what is you tend to activate your calves when you do, right?
That makes sense. Yeah. And who knows, maybe I'll find something. I noticed it this time and thought, I think I've noticed this before and I've never brought it up to Richard. So I figured I would. Thank you.
It's good. So the next thing I want to do, so now we're getting into, I want to stay with from pushing exercises, but we're still working with your lower body, with your upper body. So we're going to play it by ear. In other words, actually, we're going to play it by Rosie. In other words, Rosie says, yeah, I don't think that's going to work, or I think I'll be fine with that. So,
okay.
And maybe play it by, what did you say your neighbor's name? Donna?
Donna, yeah.
So maybe Donna will have some thoughts on this too, because this is going to, so this one here, oh, sorry, my camera's not good.
It was funny. When you were getting in position, I found myself tilting my phone as if that would make a difference.
Yeah, I've done this.
Perfect.
There we go. So this is just rows. And they're under my feet.
Okay.
And of course, it's way too long, so I'm going to give myself and what I like to do with these is I put my hands right through the loops and then grab it in front.
Okay.
And then I'm sitting like this, and probably right now, for the purpose of showing you, it's probably okay, but the rope could probably be even a little shorter.
Right. Okay.
Putting my legs a little wider, and I'm pulling back. So when I'm pulling back here, I'm trying to think, shouldn't hurt your elbows, but who knows? You're the one who knows. So what you're doing, you're keeping your chest proud, which causes your shoulders to go back and your elbow and your shoulder blades to kind of pinch together, and you're just pulling back on this like you were rowing a boat.
Right. And I don't think this is going to bother. I'll get in position and try, but I don't think this is going to bother me because it's pulling rather than pushing, as you said.
I'm thinking for this one, my concern was maybe more for the elbow than the shoulder.
Okay.
But of course, it's what you And one of the things, it's the hardest thing for, it's harder for a dedicated exerciser to take a break than it is for a couch potato to start exercising.
I suppose, and I'm dealing also with I went up to clear snow. We got about 8 inches of snow yesterday, and we're getting a couple more today. And I went up to, my neighbors are gone, so I'm clearing the whole driveway. We usually alternate and do our own on our own, but I'm doing that and feeding their birds, feeding the bird stations for them. And I got up there and I always do a walk around with the tractor to make sure everything looks like it's in the right place and everything. And I have a flat tire on the big tractor.
On your Kubota?
Yeah, so I called I thought myself, well, okay, I could take the wheel off and take it down to my place because I have a compressor in my shop. And I thought, well, I could do all that and then find out that there's a hole in it and it needs to be patched. And I wouldn't be that far off, but I wasn't exactly sure what to do. So I called the fix-it guy up here. He's a neighbor and very, very nice guy. So I'm going to meet him today just after we're done and see how I'm going to fix my Kubota tire. So, okay, I think I'm in reasonable position.
Yeah, think about shoulders back and just sort of start to pull back with 10%, 20, 30, 40, 50%. Make sure you're relaxing your neck. Your lips are slightly parted as you breathe through your mouth. Relax your jaw to relax your neck. And you're just creating a 50% effort. And you are, with your shoulders back, you should feel your shoulder blades coming together. So proud chest. Just enough that you're in contact with those muscles in your upper back. So these are the same ones when you were downstairs doing the pullovers on your chin bar. So gradually now go to 55, 60, 65, 70, 75%. So try to remember what it felt like downstairs, and you're trying to work those same muscles from a slightly different angle. Breathe, breathe. The function of your lats is to bring your elbows from overhead to actually all the way behind you. So you were working on overhead. Now you're going to 80%, 85, 90, 95. And now you're working on getting them behind you. Breathe, breathe, breathe. And you have 15 seconds left. Pinch the shoulder blades, proud chest. Shoulders back, and you're in the last 5 seconds, breathing the whole time, and gradually now go down to 80, 60, 40. Good. And the next one that I'd like to do, again, I'm wondering about your elbow, but I'll ask you to let me know what you think.
Okay.
So, I'm doing it on a roller here, which was too low, actually. I would suggest you do it on a table, possibly with your roller.
Okay.
And you are bent over enough just so that the angle between your upper arm and forearm is just below 90 degrees, and I'm pushing down on this. And again,
with your hands, basically.
I'm doing it on my, well, you could try it on your lap, see how it works. And what you're trying to do here is feel the muscle in behind your arm, but this is definitely hitting your elbow.
It feels okay.
All right, so let's go with 10%, 20, 30, 40, 50%. Okay, so we're just warming up, trying to get in touch with the muscles behind your upper arm. May not feel them right away, maybe just add a little tension. 13 more seconds of warm up. And maybe lean forward slightly to make the angle a little less than 90. There we go. And now gradually go to 55, 60, 65, 75% of the best that you dare. So now you should be feeling it in your triceps, but my big question is, how's your elbow?
I feel my elbow, but it's not anything that I would call painful. It's just I'm aware of something's weird in my right as opposed to the left.
Now gradually increase to 80, 85. And when I say what you dare, take into consideration your elbow. Even if you do a little less, but it's continuous tension, you will still get benefit. So maybe err on the side of caution. So you should.
I am, thank you.
100% of what you feel safe doing, taking your elbow into consideration. And just gradually ease off from there.
Thanks for that cue. I did that modification on both the row and on this one where I didn't give it all. I kind of backed off a little bit. When I felt the elbow initially, it was just in the warm up. And I questioned. I thought, all right, is this something that I can't sustain? Does it feel like something that is doing harm, et cetera, et cetera? And I couldn't answer, the wrong thing for any of them. So I just backed off a little bit, but I felt it quite well under my arm here and also in my triceps.
So you have rubber bands someplace, seems to me. Am I mistaken?
I have this band. I have one band here, or I've got some tubing.
Okay.
This one isn't very long. That's all I've got of this one. And then I've got tubing a little bit longer. And I haven't tested the integrity of this tubing for a long time, but it's kind of jump rope length,
Let me see. I've got one of those that you were just showing me. I don't even remember where I got this from, but I have it. And so if I wind up breaking it, I don't care. It's been sitting in my cupboard. So what I'm thinking here is, yeah, maybe yours is a little longer than mine, the one you have, your tear band, or maybe I can go here with just one. So
are you going under your feet?
yeah, I've got it under 1 foot, and
okay.
I want to be able to wrap it around my arms a bit, and then just kind of. Is yours? How long is yours? Mine is this long.
I'll tell you, mine is long enough to do that, but Donna has instructed me when I do my eccentrics to not pull up. She said, assist myself in pulling up and then let the eccentric be my exercise.
Oh, okay. And
so
what's
just to honor Donna, I don't think I should, with my fist, I don't think I should pull up.
Well, let's skip. Like I know last time we did the squeezing on your roller.
Right.
I was looking for variation. So one of the things I thought of, which also involves pulling up, I was going to get you to do forklift curls, but with your palms facing down. But that's pulling up again. So just a quick question: when he says eccentric, what's causing that? Where are you getting the resistance from on the way down?
So the only thing that Donna has said to do is with the band like this, I'm hanging my wrist off a table, and she said, help my hand up, and then it's getting pulled down, and then just go eccentric to have it go back down again. But so it's the forearm muscles that she's guarding, which is why I don't think it would be a good idea for me to do lots of forearm stuff. But maybe the fork with just a stationary, as long as I'm not doing flexing of my wrist, maybe that would be fine.
Okay, well, let's do it. Let's grab your forklift straps. I'll get mine.
Sorry, Richard.
Right, no, that's all right. Actually, it's good. We're getting feedback from a physiotherapist, so we don't want to circumvent. So what I'm doing now, I've got it, and I'm just going to get up close here. Oh, I guess I can't get up close unless I change my angle. There we go. So I've got my hands pointing down, but
Okay.
I've got the, hang on here, I got to even both sides. I've got them, they're not even here, but I'm not really going to do it. Yours should be even before you do anything. So I've got my elbows pinned to my sides and I'm just doing like a reverse curl.
Okay.
I'm not using my wrist, I'm just using my whole arm.
Right. Okay.
I'm trying to feel the muscles in the upper arm. Now, again, this is almost exactly where you're describing the pain. So play it by ear. If it starts to feel like the pain, then stop.
Okay, will do.
All right, so let's start with just once you're in position.
It's the grand imposition. But I think that's supposed to be inquisition.
Inquisition?
The grand imposition. You said imposition, and oh, that's way too short. Shoot.
Whoop.
That's looking better. Okay.
Yeah, and your elbows are pinned to your side, and you're just starting to give just a little tension upwards, 10%, 20, 30, 40, 50. And you are looking down, which is great. And I want you to think about, you're going to bring your hands up to touch your shoulders, and you should be feeling the tension at the very top of your forearms.
Yes.
And so this would be, if you were doing a dumbbell, this would be a reverse curl if you were doing a dynamic exercise with a barbell or a dumbbell. 4, 3, 2, gradually increase now to 55, 60, 65, 70, 75% of the best that you dare. Breathe, breathe. And you have 10 more seconds. 4, 3, 2, gradually increase to 80%, 85, 90, 95, and the very best that you dare. Breathing. And you have just about 10 seconds to go. Feeling like it's working, but you're not feeling the ache that you get in your forearm usually?
Right. Yeah. I'm backed off too. I'm not going a whole.
Gradually ease off to 80, 60, 40. And we're going to finish the last exercise just before I sign off with the next person who's starting in 12 minutes.
Okay.
We're going to do shrugs.
Yippee! I like shrugs for some reason. They just seem to get rid of all the, because I think like everybody, I carry tension in my shoulders, my neck, shoulders. So doing shrugs just seems to wring those out and puts me on a good note for the rest of the time.
You said yippee. Remind me of the joke about what did the snail say on the back of that was taking a ride on the back of the turtle?
I don't know.
Whee!
That's cute.
All right, so very smoothly, just start to lift your shoulders up towards your ears, 10%, 20, 30, 40, all right, 50%. Tilt my head back slightly to create that constriction. And I'm doing a 50% effort. And I'm going to continue for another 20 seconds of warm up. Breathing. 10 more seconds, we're going up to the next level. Breathe, mind muscle connection with your traps. 3, 2, now gradually go to 55, 60, 65, 70, 75% effort. Breathing the whole time. Now you're working significantly. You should be feeling some good tension. You're just extend your neck back just enough to add a little bit of tension back there as you're pulling your shoulders up, and your traps are caught in the middle and they're being contracted. And now gradually go up to 80%, 85, 90, 95, all right, the very best you can. And the more you can tighten this, the more the tension is going to release when you eventually do it. So go as high as you can, get as good a contraction as you can. You got 8 seconds left. Breathe, breathe. And now just go to 80, 60, 40. So you saw, and I honestly forget now, I don't remember if I said 2 or 3 sessions, but I'm going to add a couple of sessions to you because I owe you for 2 shipments of pills. I just noticed the last ones came in. I just noticed
Oh, good.
It's costing you $21 US every time you do that.
You know, and that's the cheapest. That's from the post office. You know, UPS was more expensive, so I've done the last 2 through the post office. And apologies, but they got so backed up around Christmas time. It was a month after I'd sent them when I checked on them, and they had just gotten to Canada.
Well, I actually have to stop now. I was getting them on sale, but they all have the best before dates. So I was hoping the later ones would have a later best before dates, and they don't.
Oh, shoot.
I suspect that the market for their product is athletes, and probably right now COVID's taken its toll because a lot of athletes are maybe not training, right?
Maybe, or it could be the opposite. It could be that people are taking the time during COVID to really crank, so they're depleting their stores. Who knows?
Maybe. I mean, interestingly, I don't know what the rules are where you are, but if I was training professional athletes, I would be able to stay open because professional sports teams, you know, they're able to train and everything else because apparently they're essential, right?
Yeah.
And,
yeah.
The rules. So the everyday people who just want to stay healthy is good, but the professional is not necessary. But the guys whose basic thing is to help sell beer and everything else while you're watching the football game, well, those guys are important, right?
Yeah, forget it. Yeah, it'll be interesting. This is Super Bowl weekend, isn't it, coming up?
It is.
It'll be I've seen some posts on Facebook, people, you know, trying out new junk food recipes and stuff. One of them actually sounded good. It was chicken with, I think, garbanzo beans and a bunch of other stuff. It was put in an avocado dip and quite spicy. It sounded good.
So is the Super Bowl going to be played in an empty stadium?
I don't have a clue. I don't even know who's playing. That's how out of touch I am on it.
I don't know that I've ever watched a Super Bowl game. So
yeah, I have. I'm American. You know, it's not unlike the Stanley Cup. I'm going to finish with a very short reading. I just thought it was so funny. A friend of mine sent this to me. Hang on one second. I just thought it was very funny. So I was telling somebody about my Kubota, you know, and the flat tire and stuff, and he said something like, "Oh, you're just a really rugged pioneer woman," kind of thing. So this is called The Rugged Outdoor Woman. During her physical examination, a doctor asked a retired woman about her physical activity level. The woman said she spent 3 days a week, every week, in the outdoors. Hang on, it just skipped to something else. While yesterday afternoon was typical, I took a 5-hour walk about 7 miles through some pretty rough terrain. I waded along the edge of a lake. I pushed my way through 2 miles of brambles. I got sand in my shoes and in my eyes. I barely avoided stepping on a snake. I climbed several rocky hills. I went to the bathroom behind some big trees. I ran away from an irate mother bear, and then I ran away from one angry bull elk. the mental stress of it left me shattered. At the end of it all, I drank a scotch and 3 glasses of wine. Amazed by the story, the doctor said, "You must be one hell of an outdoor woman." And the woman replied, "No, I'm just a really, really shitty golfer." And the guy who sent that to me has played golf with me, so he knows. I thought it was cute.
Yeah, it was. I got to run.
I know. Thank you very much. And yeah, I'll talk to you and see you on Monday.
Have a great weekend. I'm going to look forward to your book.
Thank you. Bye.